Hello, gorgeous people. How are you? Today I'm talking about the chemtrails that we see in the sky, and just a recent conversation I've had with the emissaries about why. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So, over the summer here in Spain, we've had 2 months of freedom, 2 months of nothing. Blue skies, beautiful. And now they've started. They do this every year, right? So, and obviously when they start, it kind of gets you down, and you think, oh, what the hell? What's this all about? So, as I was talking to the emissaries, I said to them, look, why are they doing this? Give me some reasons why, okay? So they started to list off the reasons. The first one they said was that, I think we mentioned this before, that they want to block the sun, but not because of the change of the climate. Okay, I have to say that in a weird way because I think the bots pick that up. It's not about that, of course. That's just a premise. It's because they want to block the rays of the sun which are coming and speeding up the Great Awakening. So I said to them, is the sun involved in that? Is that what? And they said yes. The sun is what actually is. It's bringing the energy onto the earth. Then other things happen with it, with that energy. We are the ones who multiply that energy. But yeah, so that's one reason to want to block the sun. Reason two is that they also remember the baddies are very, very happy to have a long-term plan. They're not short-term planners. They are long-term, like century planners. And so what they said was that other one was to slowly poison mankind. To slowly poison. Because if it happened very quickly, like people would be, whoa, what's going on, So they want to slowly poison mankind, and we see that in the way that things are, the soil's changing and stuff like that. Number three, talking about the soil, was to make the land unarable, so that we can't grow, and what we do grow is not of value, or not as much value as we used to. So we're not getting the nutrients that we need, we haven't got the food that we need, and it's all about with the intention of reducing the population. But they're very happy for that to take a long time. I watched a video of analysing the snow on the top of a mountain, like we're at the top where there are no people, and the levels of aluminium made the snow, like if you had to convert it into drinking water, it would be undrinkable. And it wasn't like that a few years ago. So it's kind of like, this is what's happening. So that's another reason why they do it, but long-term plan. And then the other one, which is more kind of more subtle, is that it's part of the way that they're getting people to deny what they see. Yeah. So the system is always this, and they do this all the time, which is you can see it with your own eyes. They then tell you on the television that it's not true, that this is true. And so what happens is people are quite now willing to deny what they are seeing with their own eyes and put the television over that, what the television is telling them. So it's kind of like a programming. It's a programming, not this. Yeah? Don't believe your own eyes. You can't believe your own eyes. Okay, and we see this all of the time, right? I'm kind of thinking about this, and I'm thinking, okay, right, I see this, yeah, I see it. However, there must be something more to it than that. And I just had a feeling, I thought, I'm going to push them. What else is there that's important about this? What is it? And I tell you what, when they told me this, I had a moment of, a light bulb moment. And it was a moment of course. And then, as I thought about it, I saw how important this point was in every single thing that they have ever done, everything that the devil has ever done. Okay, so what they said was that a really important part of having people do this to us is that their greatest triumph is to get us to do damage to us. Their greatest triumph, the baddies, what they revel in, is that they can persuade us to hurt ourselves and to hurt one another. And when the emissary said that, I thought, wow, because that's what everything has been about. When we look at everything, look at wars. You know, who goes to war? Well, we do. Yeah. Look what happened during the whole of the plan stroke demic. Doctors, nurses, quite willing to use protocols that they could see were killing people. Very willing to. Like civil servants, quite willing to impose rules that they could see were damaging people. People working, producing food, very, very comfortable with saying that the food that they produce is going to damage people, putting products into food that are going to damage people. Pharmaceutical companies working, producing things, knowing fine well, hiding studies, knowing fine well that what they are producing is hurting. And all for what? All for what? Filthy lucre. Really, power and money, but principally money. And I was kind of thrown back to, you know, the thing which I'm sure I've talked about before, with Jesus, 40 days fasting in the wilderness, and then the devil comes to him and says, look, you know, you can have all of that. All you need do is do one act of worship to me. Jesus had to do the act. He had to do it. That's how he could get it. The people who lay the lines have to do it if they want to get their salary. And so they will justify doing it, and without doubt they're lying to themselves about it's, you know, it's good and it's helping people. So that, you know, they're in this terrible cognitive dissonance that people live. But all of it we do. All of the damage that is being done to us, humankind is doing it. They don't do it. They don't do it. For them, this is what the emissary said, they perceive that they do not have blood on their hands. They perceive that their hands are clean. We have the blood guilt because we are the ones that are hurting one another. And I'll leave you with this. I mean, for me, it was so profound. I just thought, I mean, that is the perfect way that the devil works, is it not? Is to get people to create their own hell themselves. He doesn't even need to do anything. He doesn't even need to act. He just has to get us to create our own hell and to forget about God. It's all about when we forget that we are all one. That's what the idea of this is, to take us away from God, is to make us forget that we all are God and we are all part of God. And so when we are capable of hurting our fellow man for whatever reason and justifying that, we have forgotten that we are hurting ourselves. And that's the job of the devil, is to maintain duality, to maintain us and them, God and us, not even God. Yeah? That's the whole purpose of all of this shit that's going on. And as soon as we start realizing that we are one, and that when we hurt somebody, we're just hurting ourselves, it's over. It's done. I'll leave you with a story. I was talking to somebody, a lovely lady in Australia, and she went to the big protests of all of the awakened people, I think in Canberra or something like that. And they were there for a number of days. And she said, you know, they'd come and they'd put toilets and stuff like that and places to wash. She said, in those places, if you go to a festival, it's a disaster. I don't know if you saw the after the festival in the UK, that big festival, it was a mess. She said, where we were, and there were 1 million people, It was clean. It was beautiful. The toilets were kept clean. They worked in teams to clean the toilets. Everybody helped one another. People would make sure that everybody had something to eat. It was a community, and it was beautiful. And we saw the same thing in Canada with the truckers. In fact, we see the same thing whenever awakened people get together. They look after one another. They would never harm one another. Never. So that makes me emotional. So much harm. So much hurt. So, that is a message. There we are. So we don't want to be like that. Let them do that. Let them hurt one another, but that's not who we are. Okay? So there we are. I'll leave that with you. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.